How these inspirational conversations with my students got started was like this. Last year, I noticed that a lot of the kids, and even this year, so it's not just last year, but I noticed that a lot of the kids feel like there's so much overwhelmingly evil things that happen in the world. And it really does feel like sometimes just evil has the upper hand. And as a result of that, students, and not just students, but people all around the world started experiencing, for the first time probably in their lives, feelings of complete and total despair and hopelessness. And then when that happens, we start to think that there's no point to anything anymore. There's no point to being good or trying to be a good person or try to live a good life or putting forth a lot of effort into the things that we do because, again, everything feels hopeless. It doesn't feel like there's a point to anything. And again, that's the reason why I have these conversations with my students, these open dialogues, right? Because at least in my view, in order to get through really tough times, you need two things.
The first is that in the darkest and most challenging times is when we need our best qualities to come through. I remember teaching that lesson to my kids on Friday, and a lot of them nodded their heads and they were, happy to hear that. The second is knowing that you can absolutely conquer the evil with the good. And the second one is really important, especially to me personally, because I know that I tend to respond emotionally to a lot of things. And when, people hurt us, right? I'm sure you can relate, but when people hurt us, we want to avenge ourselves. We want to get back at that person for hurting us, right? But what usually happens when we respond in that way? Does it make the situation better? Usually not. It usually makes it a lot worse. I think that just having these conversations and kind of putting everything back into perspective is something that helps. I hope that it helps my students not just get through the day, but really thrive in life, especially during these challenging times.